Did you like the little zingy thing? It's like the zing, the little zinger majig thing. You got our marketing team to thank for that one. But yeah, we're here. I know this is a shocking statement. I think that actually it might just be completely wild. I'm in Vegas. What, you might ask? I'm in Las Vegas. I'm here for Adobe Summit, and let's get right into it. There's a ton of announcements. There's a ton of announcements and a ton of things that are being introduced. And it should not surprise anyone that the vast majority of announcements that have been unleashed on the world of marketing have a lot to do with how we actually get the work of all of this done, the work of engagement. A couple key things that we're hearing a lot about. Let's start at the very top of this ledger being a name change. Now, if you are Adobe came in boxes and on discs years old, like I am, you will know that what we have traditionally called the marketing side of the business kind of went from marketing cloud to engagement cloud to digital experience to there have been a lot of names. There have been a lot of names. And in fairness to Adobe, there have been a lot of names because there have been a lot of eras that it has had to evolve through and a lot of different eras of marketing that it has had to really address. And I think the message now for all of us is that we are firmly in the age when AI, and very specifically agentic AI, is not trying to manage or force or even drive through customer experiences. I am very proud of the team for abandoning a lot of that language. But we are in an age where, thanks to AI, marketers are able to orchestrate CX, orchestrate a customer's experience, and really start to apply some tools, both from an analytics perspective, from an intelligence perspective, but also from a creative perspective, that we can actually get that goal, get that job of intersecting brand and buyer done with far more precision. And we can actually get closer to that nut that this squirrel has been chasing for years: personalization. Right? So without any further ado, welcome everyone to Adobe's CX Enterprise. That is as much of a vision as you can get these days, right? They see CX as being something that needs to be orchestrated, and it does. It needs to be orchestrated across the organization. This is not, notice how it was not called CX for marketing or even just marketing for business. It is very intentional, this name that they have shifted towards, because it is an era where agentic is moving the capacity for experience and the capacity to engage, to drive growth, to drive opportunity for our organizations well beyond the confines of a function we've always called marketing. And that's where Adobe's vision is squarely driving towards. That agentic is going to be part of that vehicle, but it is still the work of marketers. It is still the work of, engagement leaders across the org that really needs to come together and work and collaborate in a very different way. We've seen huge success from their introduction of conversational AI, something that is now GA with their brand concierge solution. And what we also got to witness and we got to see today was just how far Adobe intends to take that conversational UI. In fact, that is going to be the way that you engage with all of the tools and all of the platforms. And that is their vision, that a marketer can simply ask. And it starts right now with typing. Yes, you're still asking with your fingers and a lot of times, but we are going to start seeing, and we have heard from many of the leaders here, that we're going to see that roadmap where speech and that capacity for speech-to-speech engagement across our interfaces is going to happen, where we can simply tell our platform, this is not only the audience that we need, but I want to discover new things, discover new insights that are happening in the market. How is that impacting my customizations and my context of my customer? And where does that all of that start to come to life? We saw a big introduction. I'm sorry, I'm looking down at my notes because, again, you guys know that this happens to me. When y'all introduce too much stuff at once, I've got to either jot things down on my phone or on crazy pieces of paper. And then I got sticky notes all over the place. I kind of feel crazy, but let's get back into it. Okay. You're going to start to see a lot of things come out around brand intelligence. This is about having visibility into what is happening with your brand, how your brand is being engaged with, where that brand is appearing, what are those events that are happening around that. I want you to think about these visibility tools as, yes, being something that's very specific, to have the tools be there for dual optimization, that we are going to optimize these content moments. We're optimizing our experiences, yes, for humans that are consuming these wonderful new engagements, but we're also absolutely looking for ways that we're optimizing those experiences for other agents. We have to start thinking about how other agents, how other bots, how all the things are going to engage with what we're building with. So we're starting to see that not only through things like an enhanced LLM optimizer solution that is being released, including things around, the automatic detection of content that's hidden from LLMs. You're looking at controlled experiments to optimize those. And yes, while all of that was super cool, and I'm super excited to see just how far solutions like LLM Optimizer have evolved and innovated since they were introduced, maybe, even 6-9 months ago. I'm also looking out into the future. And I'm looking out into a future where SEMrush, which Adobe announced its intention to acquire, when that acquisition closes, look for a whole new exciting conversation that is going to bring so many of people who are my age, marketing years old. I actually referred to myself as being paper years old to someone in marketing, and they exactly understood what I meant. Paper years old. But get someone who's like me and who's paper years old. We're going to understand this real connection between kind of what we've always talked about, paid, earned, and owned media. And in the age of authority that we're in, let me back up a second. Live video, pardon me, but let's talk about those early ages. We've already lived through the age of availability. Where is our stuff showing up? Is the thing, the experience, the content, the moment that we created? We marketers have strategized and worked with our creatives, worked with our product teams. Is that moment available everywhere we want it to be? We talked a lot about things like omni-channel and had debates over whether it was omni-channel or was it multi-channel or cross-channel, and we all had the arm wrestle over it. That was the age of availability that quickly turned into the age of authenticity, driven by changes in the Google and the search algorithm, driven by those kind of tenets of what search became. Did we show up? How quickly did we load? How authentic was the voice? How many times did we appear in those gorgeous blue links? Backlinks were the commodity. That was the currency that we worked in. The age of authenticity made sure that how we were appearing in all of those places, that what we already battled in the age of availability could be turned into a new battle for authenticity. But we've now entered a new age, thanks to LLMs, thanks to agentic AI. And I hate to tell you folks, welcome to the age of authority. It's the age we live in right now. It's where authority of our content, how many times our content is cited, how many times that LLM crawls through all of that information. And yes, there's a blog on it. You can all read it. And I talk about an iceberg flipping, and I made an image with a penguin. You have to see it to believe it. Anyway, because we live in this age of authority, we need different tools that give us a different type of connected visibility. Everything that happens across those paid, earned, and owned channels is important. The conversations that happen in social aren't just about brand authenticity anymore, how we talk to the space. Are we talking to our crowd? Are we talking to our people? Are we talking to the market? It's also about how we're influencing prompts. It's about our authority. Do people believe what we're saying? Do they cite it? Does it appear in places from G2 to Reddit? We're having to look in different places and different spaces, and we need the visibility to be able to do that. And Adobe is really very intentionally and thoughtfully seeing that, because it's not just about AI. And I've heard a lot of conversation around how, AI, they're not doing anything in AI. Adobe's been doing things for marketers with AI probably longer than everyone's been talking about AI. This is not a new thing. And I also have to say, this is a company that knows what it can do. And let me tell you, this research team, I've had a chance to sit with these people. This is a group that knows how to do an awful lot. they could create a model that can do pretty much everything we've seen. All of those, oh my God, a dragon went flying through the city moments. But this, Adobe, is a business that understands what it shouldn't do because it understands its customers. It's not about surprise. It's not about delight. It's not about how, ooh, it's so cool that I could make a deep fake. In fact, what it is about is how do I get enterprises to their goal of either protecting their assets and ensuring that we aren't used in the places and spaces we don't want to be, or that we can create content at scale, on brand, and in ways that are enterprise safe. Those are different conversations than what I can do. And I got to tell you, these are the conversations we have to be having more of, because it's not about what is it. Oh, they've lost their way. They haven't lost their way. They've known exactly where they were going the entire time. So where do we start to go from here? In this age of authority, you have to know exactly where your brand is visible and where it's not, how it is. Is it trusted? Have we had those conversations? Do we know how to actually influence prompts instead of just demanding searches? There are going to be very different conversations that we have to have. And I, for one, pretty stoked to have them. I for one, would like to not have the conversation around personalization anymore. I'd like AI to just go ahead and take care of that. I have been having the personalization conversation for decades. Kind of done. I want to talk about new stuff. And I was confused during the keynote today because the chief growth officer for Xfinity took the stage with Adobe's brand CMO, Laura Ballas, who's longtime CMO, super talented, absolutely love her. She was interviewing the chief growth officer for Xfinity. And it was interesting because he made a comment that kind of made me scratch my head a little bit because I was wondering why it belonged on the Adobe Summit stage of all places. He called most of marketing beige. He said the most of the marketing he sees out there is beige. He felt that marketing didn't go far enough. And so one of the things that he does with his own team is ask the team where the line is and then tell his team to go a step farther. And so I had to sit with that for a few minutes. I had to sit with it for a little bit. And while I don't think all marketing is beige, I don't agree with him on all of that. Yes, all of my background is beige, so hashtag irony, I get it. But I think for a very long time, because we didn't know why, we didn't necessarily see all of the things that marketing was doing to impact growth. We've been told that we're not doing anything, in fact. But now, armed with AI, we can tell you exactly what happens when we splash a whole lot of color on all of that strategy. I can tell you what happens when I turn my marketing from beige to any color I need it to be. In fact, I can tell you exactly what a segment of customer is going to want as far as going too far, not going far enough. I think that's the exciting thing that's happening in marketing. It's exactly why I get excited about all this stuff. There are lots of different tones of beige. Beige can be colorful. Beige can be useful. But beige, let's let AI handle that part. For marketers, go have some fun. Go work with all the colors. And however it fits together, come back and tell me about it. With that, I'm going to go down and have a reception with the fabulous AR team and my fellow analysts here. There's going to be much more in day 2 coming up. It is jam-packed. It is tired. I really do blend in with absolutely, like I literally blend with the trim. What have I done? Oh gosh, you guys got to warn me about this stuff. You have to remind me that at the Venetian, I blend with the walls. Oh my God, I'm beige. Okay, with that, see you later, guys. Tune in for part 2, I guess tomorrow. You'll catch me after that. And wow, talk to you guys later.